Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea, and in this video I will be talking about my experience being a Charles B. Rangel International Affairs Graduate Fellow. I was a 2017 fellow, and I'm making this video because when I was applying for the fellowships, I always wanted to hear the experiences of what it was like to be a fellow, and so I thought it would just be interesting to create this video. In this video, I won't be exactly talking about like the benefits or the eligibility requirements about being a fellow. You can find the most up-to-date information on the fellowship's website. I have included the link in the description box below, as well as some of the other fellowships that are similar. And before we get into this video, I just wanted to say that the Charles B. Rangel Fellowship is one of the fellowships out there that attracts a lot of bright young individuals to join the Foreign Service. All right, let's get started. So I applied in 2016 to be a part of the 2017 Rangel Fellowship cycle. And when I applied, I remember I applied and I had my interview at the State Department the week before the presidential election. And I remember I applied on a Thursday, and the day after, 24 hours later, I found out that I received the fellowship, and I literally screamed because I literally screamed. I was so shocked. I was literally so shocked. And the whole office knew that I had won the fellowship, because right after the interview, I was like a hot mess. I literally cried because I thought I blew the interview. I literally thought I blew the interview. I thought it was over. I was like, oh. And I like put a whole lot of work before during the application process and preparing for the interview, and I just thought I blew it. And so when I found out that I was a fellow, I was literally shocked, and I just had nothing but happy screams. And so about a week later, after I found out that I earned the fellowship, I started getting emails from colleges and universities all over the country trying to recruit me to their graduate program. And I literally felt like a celebrity because it was like I didn't even write to these schools. Like, these schools knew who I was. It was really, really interesting. It was really interesting. And I remember that I had to hurry up and submit my grad school application. My grad school application, because the application deadlines were happening really fast, because it was about to be December by this point, and most of the deadlines were December, January. So yeah, I had to turn over my application really quickly. When it comes to the internships, I had a really, really great internship experiences. So when you're a Rangel Fellow, you participate in 2 internships, one on Capitol Hill and then the one overseas at an embassy or consulate worldwide. And the internship on Capitol Hill is they give you a really cool perspective about how Congress has a role in international affairs and diplomacy, how Congress and the State Department works together. And so I learned a lot that summer. I learned a lot about how laws are made and Congress's role in our country. And so that summer, I interned on the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, and at the time, the ranking member was Senator Ben Cardin. And during that summer, a lot was going on. I was there when a lot was going on. And during that summer, it was the Russia investigation. There was the James Comey hearing. There were just a lot of hearings that dealt with our world. A lot of interesting hearings that I was able to be a part of and that I took notes for. And besides the hearings, I did a lot of work. I contributed to a lot of work that led to bills or legislation. And I met with constituents, and it was just a really eye-opening summer. It was a summer where it was the first time that I was able to live in DC. And although I'm from Baltimore, I had only been to DC maybe once or twice before my whole life. And so it was a cool opportunity also to live in the capital, one of the greatest cities of the world. And then so my second internship at the U.S. Embassy in Vietnam, it was literally life-changing. It was one of my favorite summers. One of my favorite summers to date, both for professional reasons and for personal reasons. I literally, that was such a wonderful summer because it was the first time I had ever been in the embassy and being able to do work. And from day one, I kid you not, from day one, I was treated like an entry level officer. I had so much responsibility. My supervisor and my boss, they treated me with so much, they gave me so much responsibility. They trusted me. And from day one, I literally was on the ground running. And there was literally never a time when I had a slow moment. And even when there was when it was like kind of slow in the office, I was able to create my own opportunities, and they were accepted. For example, I was able to partner with USAID to create a video about pollution on Halong Bay and our cleanup efforts that USAID were doing there. And I was able to welcome the Secretary of State in, two assistant secretaries. I did a lot of outreach that summer where I talked to the Vietnamese public about American culture and our history. And I remember I helped one student get into college here in the United States. And it was just such a summer of so much, professional growth. Like I said, I was trusted with so much responsibility, and I grew up a lot that summer. Um, and then personally, I lived really, really good in Vietnam. Like, I stayed with two other fellows. We lived in this penthouse. It was a really nice apartment. It had like three different floors. Each one of us, we had like our own floor. I was able to travel throughout Southeast Asia. I went to a lot of different countries. I went to Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines. Um, I was able to explore Vietnam, and I just had such a wonderful time that summer. And I just felt like this is like where I'm supposed to be after that summer. That internship literally solidified that I was good enough. I had what it took. And when I was doing my recap of all the things that happened over that summer, I literally had 2 pages. Like, I literally did so much that summer, and it was such an amazing time. The team there was awesome. The ambassador, everybody. It was just an incredible experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. As far as schools, I went to one of my number one choices for grad school. I went to American University. I studied intercultural and international communications with the emphasis in public diplomacy. I believe the program there prepared me well for my internship that I had in Vietnam, and for until now, it's prepared me for life. And two of the classes that I took during grad school, I took some foreign policy classes. I took some communication classes. It was like a mixture of both. And two of the classes that I had, it really helped me for my internship. I had a class about facilitation and how to facilitate different events and groups, and I used that a lot that summer. It's very critical in public diplomacy. And I had a class about smartphone media production. It was like 1 credit, but the wide variety of classes that AU offered, it really helped. It really helped a lot. And the best part about it was I did not have to take any student loans out. I went to grad school debt free, no student loans, and I am so thankful, so thankful. So as far as my tips for the program, if you're interested in applying to the Rangel Fellowship or any of the Foreign Service Fellowships, my number one tip is to not compare yourself to other people. My undergrad experience, I came from a liberal arts school, small liberal arts school, and I just remember when I was looking up these fellowships, I just remember comparing myself to other applicants who had went to like these big name schools, who had all of this national awards, and I discounted that experience that I brought. I didn't believe in my own experience so much that I didn't apply for the first cycle that I knew about. I waited a whole year until I got enough courage to apply. And so definitely don't compare yourself to others. Just believe that you can do it, that believe that you have a story to tell, that you have something to contribute, that the world needs you. So don't discount your experience. Don't compare yourself to anything that you see online. Because by then I already had like 4 years of experience, 4 years of experience prior to entering grad school. And so I had some experience under my belt, but you just have to believe in yourself and believe that you're a gem, and so that you should apply. My second piece of advice for future applicants is to apply early. Literally apply early. Don't wait till the last minute to apply. I remember when I started my application, the fellowship welcome to application, or the deadline was in September that year. I started my application in June, and I literally wrote, I'm not kidding, like 10 drafts. My draft of how I started was not the same draft of what I've ended up with. And I wrote and rewrote and rewrote and rewrote until I was like so tired of that essay. I was so sick and tired of that essay. And so start early, and with that said, make multiple revisions on your essay. And in terms of the essay, find somebody to work with when you're writing the essay. Find somebody to proofread your essay. Find somebody to give you suggestions and feedback. If your school, if you have a professor that you can trust, go to them to have them proofread your essay. Or if there's an office for scholarships, ask if somebody can look at your essay there. I think that makes a world of difference. And when you're writing your essay, be sure to tell a story. Don't write it like a cover letter. I think that's important as well. Also, get great letters of recommendation. Don't just like, if you interned at like this organization, don't ask like the president that you didn't really work with. Ask somebody who you work closely with, professors you've worked closely with, people who know your work habits really well, who will be able to testify that you are the applicant that the program is looking for. When you're applying for the fellowship, it's a rigorous process. Remember that it's a marathon and not a sprint. By the time I had my interview in November, I was tired because I had given so much work to my application and to preparing for the interview. But just pace yourself, and just pace yourself. And then my last tip is, if you don't get the fellowship, there are other fellowships like it that you can apply to. You can always apply the following year, and just keep being persistent with the whole application, whether that's with the fellowship or with the foreign service. Just be persistent and just never give up. So those are some of my tips, and that's a bit of my story about being a Rangel Fellow, just my experiences at least. And the fellowship literally was a blessing. It is a life changer. Over the last 2 years, when I was a fellow, I grew so much as a person, both professionally and personally. And the fellowship is well needed. It prepares you well for when you do enter the foreign service. And I am so grateful to everyone who has helped me along the way. If you thought this video was helpful, be sure to share it. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and stay tuned for future videos just talking about my experience and my journey on this thing called life. All right, you guys, until next time. See you later.